Hi, I'm Daniel Roberts. Over the past 13 years, I've worked with a lot of attorneys, helping them find the right niche in the law or outside of the law. I was interviewed recently and this question came up, so the following video will give you some information, I hope, that will be helpful for you finding your own special niche. Have a great career.
People coming out of law school and I was almost entertained by the concept of a lazy lawyer, and that they're just following the path of least resistance. What advice would you have for someone who's who's either in law school or just recently got out of law school and maybe not be so excited about what they're doing? How can they evaluate their options and know and make some wise choices about their career?
Well, what I do with clients first, and I think this is what everyone should do, is you think about your own life. You know, who are you? You're John Smith. You know, what do you want to do with your life? What do you want to be doing 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20 years from now? Is there something you really want to accomplish outside of your career? Maybe you say, I really want to sail around the world in a sailboat. That's really important. Or I want to take a year off and go to a monastery. Or I want to become a professor. Or I want to retire at 50 with plenty of money. I mean, whatever it is, you know, you need to think about that first, because that's something that is much more important than your career. And then after that, after you've looked at that and had an idea outside of work, how you want to go, you know, how you want to live your life, then, you know, you layer in the work on top of that. And so then you say, okay, what would I like to do? And one question I ask clients would be, if they're lawyers, I say, okay, if you could do anything at all in the field of law, it all paid the same, and it all paid enough, what would you do? And sometimes they don't have a clue. Sometimes it pops right out. And oftentimes if it pops right out, it's not what they're doing. And so they've taken a path that has gotten them into an area that is really, you know, not the right area for them. So I would say that for people starting, first of all, people getting out of law school, maybe you had some assessment tests in college, maybe you haven't had, a lot of lawyers haven't had anything since high school. It's a good idea to get some basic personality inventory testing done, because the more you know about yourself, then the easier it is to make the right choice. You may think, I know. Well, maybe you do. And if so, then the testing is going to confirm what you know about yourself and make you all the more confident about which way you want to go. Or if you find out something new about yourself, well, then maybe I ought to consider this area in the law. Or maybe it points to an area outside of the law where you can certainly use your experience and your law degree, but to do something that's not exactly being a lawyer, but doing something that's very fulfilling for you. So I would say, first of all, take any assessment tests that you can. You can usually have access to those tests through either your undergraduate or law school campus career counselor. Take those tests. And there are a lot of other tests you can take online. Some cost a little money, some don't. You can go to a psychologist and have in-depth counseling with the results explained to you in detail if you like. It costs more money, depends on what you want to do. But I would say learn as much as you can about who you are. That would be the first thing. And then the second thing would be to learn as much as you can about what it's really like to practice in these different areas, because they are totally different. You could be an appellate lawyer sitting in an office all by yourself all day long, looking on the computer, doing research, writing, honing, fine-tuning. You're a writer, basically. You're a writer and a researcher. You work alone. Or you could be a transactional lawyer where you have 4 or 5 people underneath you. You're handing out work to different associates, you've got paralegals, you've got big piles of documents, complicated things that need to be done, sometimes in a hurry with a lot of pressure, and you're dealing with banks maybe you're dealing with public offerings. That's a whole different animal. And then you've got your guys that are trial lawyers. And you know, they've got maybe 15 or 20 cases ready to go at any time. and they walk in the office, say, okay, what's going? They pick up the file, they go to the courthouse, they try the case, they come back. If there's enough time that week, they go back and try another case. And then you've got some litigation where lawyers work on it for 10, 20 years. It's complicated stuff. You've got criminal lawyers. There are a lot of different ways to practice law. And one thing I do when I talk to people is I have them do a criteria filter. Like absolutely positively, what do you have to have in your career, in your job? I mean minimum. At a minimum, you have to have that. For example, I have to make this much money. Not you want to, but you have to make this much money.
Right.
How much vacation do you have to have? How many hours a week are you really willing to work? Is that 40, 48, 80? You have to get real about that, and then you can see what you have to have. And then the other side of that is ideally, within reason, what you would like to have. And the reason for that is the more people have an understanding about what they want, the easier it is to see it when it's before them. For example, if you're looking for a new Corvette, all of a sudden you see Corvettes everywhere, right?
That's true.
And the same thing with the kind of career that you want. So if you see that you want to be in court every so often, that you want to work in a firm that's less than 20 people, that you want to be in the western part of the United States, and so forth and so on, then when that opportunity presents itself, it's going to be a lot easier.